bright sunny day in London, very rare for the city. I'm along the A4 and look what we've got here. So protest against Japanese killing dolphins. They are blaring out messages, stop the slaughter. Very interesting. And the reason why they're doing it here, see the Japanese flag? That's the embassy there, I believe. Shame on Japan indeed. Yep, that's the embassy. Right, let's move on. Now I've just come out from Apple Market in Covent Garden, and clearly the Christmas celebrations have just started. They've gotten the decorations going, and look what we have right in front. That's right, it's the London Transport Museum. Let's take a look, shall we? Welcome to the London Transport Museum. It looks very futuristic. I'm right at the entrance, and you see there's a lot of different languages. There's Chinese there, this is French. This place looks legit. Alright, and I just came from the entrance. The ticket prices here are £15 for regular adults, £11.50 for students. The best thing about this is it's free for youngsters, aged 17 and younger, and all tickets are valid for 1 year. That's the best thing. Can keep coming back here anytime I want. Alright, so let's hop on in. Back in the day, bus conductors, train conductors, all the transport operators alike were very respected figures in the public because of their smart outfits and their service to society. This is something to keep in mind even in today's age, don't you think? Here are life-size installments of buses and trams. And yes, you get to learn a bit more about these early forms of transport back in the early 1900s in London. They used to have steam-powered boats and electrified trams back then, but those were quickly superseded. They found the drawbacks to be too overwhelming, and they have since switched. As you now know, London has one of the most world-class transport systems, bus and the London Underground. I mean, you compare that to other first-world countries like Melbourne and Lisbon, who still have very old train systems integrated into their city. And yes, it's very, very different in London. It's much more modern. I think I like it more here.
First moving staircase began to run at Earl's Court in the year 1911. A man with a wooden leg was employed to ride up and down all day to show the passengers how
So the first escalator in London was in Earl's Court. Who knew? It's a wonderful parody of the tube map with all the famous people placed as station names. And would you look at that? It's Pythagoras' triangle. The English are unrivaled when it comes to good design. This iconic red circle and blue bar symbol is probably the most well-recognized transport symbol in the entire world, used for all transport modes in London. And then there's the tube map. This design of the tube map with colours denoting individual lines and stations being demarcated in equal distances as opposed to being geographically accurate was designed by Harry Beck. And has been copied in virtually every single railway design, metro design in the world. One unavoidable issue when discussing public transport is public transport versus private transport, and the debate between efficiency and, well, convenience. So yes, it's always a very tricky issue for transport planners to deal with. And yes, here this is the exhibition on diesel trains versus the old steam trains and how much faster they were in getting people from the outskirts of London to central London. And we have the Docklands Light Rail, which I find very intriguing. Apparently it was built to ease congestion from Canary Wharf, which is the business district of London. One would think that an overground railway takes up precious real estate, which could be used for development. But hey, they managed to make it work. So, good for them. This is an animation of the timeline of the expansion of the tube. And I think one thing that I've been always saying is that the tube is very, very old, and you have to give it a lot of credit for running for so many years now. They did expand it very quickly, coming to the turn of the 20th century, and by the time it was First World War, that's a century ago, mind you, most of Zone 1 is already built up, and it's more or less the same as what we know of Zone 1 today. I'm standing here in one of London's most famous universities, King's College London. But how many people know that just right next door there's this little secret Strand Station, Piccadilly Railway? It's closed. It's been closed for 20 years. Last operated in 1994. One of the great secrets of the London Underground. Formerly known as Strand Station, it was renamed to Aldwych due to a naming conflict, and it was in service until 1994 when it was no longer equitable business-wise. And even though the gates are closed, it is still being used today for filming TV documentaries and so on. What secrets lie under there? I heard that it was used during the times of World War II to house civilians deep underground where they couldn't be touched by the bombs. It's a very interesting piece of history. Hopefully I get to go in one day. See about that. So the sun's setting on London and my tummy's rumbling. It's time to stop for a short snack. And look what we have here. London's best coffee shop. Let's go in. The ambience here is really nice. All sorts of exotic pastries. And look at this. The famous cronut with a nice star on top. This looks absolutely delectable. I'll chow in, if you excuse me. The atmosphere here is very nice. The decor, old but rustic. And they just put a candlelight on the shelf. So cool. And here's my tea. I mean, look at the bottle of milk. Bucket of sugar. Very, very rustic. That's the only word I can summon. And man, this cronut. Sorry to tempt your taste buds, but this is absolutely beautiful. Can't see it very clearly, but it's very, very sinful. Very luxuriously laced with chocolate and sugar. You can see the chocolate oozing out of the cronut. Beautiful stuff. Bon appetit. Alright, it'll be cruel of me to show y'all, let y'all watch me eat that delicious cronut, so I'll just cut to here. It was very fantastic, and the staff are very friendly, very good staff. And yeah, do come by here. It's around Holborn to enjoy your coffee, enjoy some artisan pastries. It's a nice place to be. For now, I'll head off. Goodbye.